What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry, and today we'll continue with our JavaScript by example on level 1. Building our calculator. Look what we built on the previous episode. That's what we built. That's a beautiful schematic calculator right there. Nice, right? And that's the source code for it, remember? Built it from scratch. Look at that. So again, guys, if you have any questions, if you want to look at the source code, it's available on the GitHub page here. So it's in the description below. You can just click on that along with the rest of all of these series. So I'm going to bundle it in a playlist where you can access it at your leisure. Okay, so what we're going to do in this episode actually is I believe we will start adding the first JavaScript code to interact with our work here. So we can just, if I click 9, I expect 9 to be there. If I click 8, I expect 8 to be here. So another kind of note that I want to add. This won't be like a conventional calculator that is like the one you're used to, where you click 9 plus 9 plus, and it will add the result as you do, as you continue. It will be actually much simpler, where we type in the expression, where we do 9 multiplied by 6 plus, and we're gonna add everything there. And then when we hit equal, we will add the results of that expression. Does that make sense? So that's the only difference here. So just make things much simpler as a level 1 calculator. If we do it the other way, it will be very messy. So let's just keep it clean, keep it simple. All right? How does that sound? First thing I want to do before we continue, I want to change this symbol from X to the actual multiplication symbol, which is actually a star. All right, and I'll tell you later about this, right? Why I'm doing this, because I'm gonna use this character in a special operation. So a star means multiplication in JavaScript, and actually I would say in almost all programming languages, a star is a multiplication. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's true. But yeah, so what we're gonna do here is, when I click on these puppies, any of them except those, I will add that button or that key or that digit to the result here. Except this, because AC is basically means clear everything, right? So when you click on this, this will reset to 0. How does that sound? Does that sound coolish to you guys? Let's get started. Let's build something. All right, we need to identify something here first, right? These cells, right? Each cell, like cell number 3, that holds digit number 3, is actually nothing but this, right? Which is kind of this element. And be careful here, I said element. That whole object, that whole element, that whole tag is one entity. And I want to somehow identify that entity, identify that object, and grab that value and do something with it. Today, I cannot. And the reason is, it does not have an identity. It does not have an identifier. It does not have a unique name that identify these objects. So that is what's missing in our code here today. So that's what we want to learn today. We want to learn how to clearly identify these objects so we can write JavaScript code that can hook into these objects and pull values and create events. That's a new word now. Events. Create events that can trigger an action. An example of an event is, guess what? That's an event. That's an event. That's another event. A click is an event. A double click is an event. A move is an event. All these are actually events. This is an event. An event is something that happens and triggers a piece of code that can be executed. So once we identify these objects, we can assign events to these objects, which can allow us to hook into these events and do cool stuff. Like when I click, remember when I said when I click, that's an event. When I click. So that object will be listening to this click event, but we have to do all that work. Now it's just dumb. It doesn't know anything. We have to teach it everything, right? All right, guys, let's get to work. Let's get to work. All right, let's first identify these puppies, okay? You know this? What is this? This is another way, by the way, to look in these. Let's see if we can do this. If you right click in Chrome, if you're using Chrome, and you do right click and you do inspect, remember that's just like our code, right? But the beauty of this is that actually when you click, remember when I told you that this is the row, that entire thing is the row, that is a cell, that is a cell. So that is actually that one, right? That's 0. And then here, and then you click here. That's just beautiful, guys. Look at this. Chrome is really cool. It can tell you which cell exactly, right? So we want a way to identify these puppies. How can we do that? How can we do that, sir? It is by using a new attribute. By the way, guys, I didn't tell you that these are called attributes. Probably you should know by now. Right? We're assigning attribute. This is a first attribute, the second attribute. A third attribute is called an ID. Doesn't have to be in sequence, obviously. And I'm gonna call this ID result because guess what? That's our result, right? That's the beauty of the first one. All right. And let's go ahead and identify the rest of all these. Let's call this clear. ID clear. And then ID is equal sign. Sign. ID equal percentage. ID equal division. ID equal number 7. ID equal number 8. ID equal number 9. ID is equal number 10. Nope, that's not number 10. ID equal multiplication. And ID is equal number 4. And ID is equal number 5. That is obviously 6. Sub ID is equal number 1. Number 2. Number 3. id is equal plus id is equal, oh, guess what, this number is 0. id is equal decimal. That's embarrassing. I don't know how to spell this decimal, so that is really embarrassing. Decimal. My excuse, it's not my first language. English is not my first language. That's my excuse. Okay, guys, don't make fun of me. Equal. All right, sorry about that. All right. Equal. All right, so I think we identified all of these puppies now. So if we refresh, obviously nothing will happen. I'm not expecting anything to happen here. It's just we have a better way of identifying my objects now. Now that we did that, we are ready to write some JavaScript code, guys. How about that? Let's get started. Okay, I want you to go at the bottom of your application, right before your body, right before your body ends. And we're going to insert a new tag where we're going to write a script tag. That's right. You're going to write your first script. That's what we're going to write JavaScript. In the old days, we used to say like type equal JavaScript, but it's known. Now it's known script is always JavaScript. There are two options now. We used to do like script equal VB script or equal JavaScript, but yeah, so now it's only JavaScript. But yeah, JavaScript. What should I do? What should I do now? We will learn how to how to retrieve an object. And when I say an object, this is an object, this is an object, this is an object. All of these are object, right? All of these are object. This is an object. This is a cell. A cell is just another object. So let's just do that, right? I'm gonna pull the value of cell number 3, right? So how can I do that? We're gonna do this. Document. That's the first object that you need to learn. Document is the whole big object that contains our entire stuff here, right? And remember, we identified all of these as elements before, right? So guess what? To get an element or to get an object, all we have to do is actually call a function called get element by ID. So you notice that my special Sublime text here actually autocomplete this, right? So you can install a plugin that actually help you do that. You don't have to though, right? Any text editor, if you know it to spell that, you have to spell it correctly though, right? Get capital E element capital B ID, right? So this really helps if you have this intelligence that actually can continue this code for you. Helps a lot. So get element by ID, and then what's the name of the element I'm gonna pull? I'm gonna pull number 3. That's the element. All right. So it's always like math, having just an expression like that floating in the air doesn't make sense. You have to assign it to something. So assigning an object or a variable or an element is done by doing this in JavaScript. You do let, and then you declare a variable name, and then you say equal. That means, hey, go find me that object and put it in that variable. How about that? Right? And just like that, we got that object. So, but what can we do with that? Lots of stuff. Remember, number 3 is this, right? So now I can access this attribute, I can access this attribute, I can access so many other attributes, I can access this attribute. Guess or not, this actually another attribute. This is actually the value, the text content of that object. So how do I do that? So let's do that. For simplicity, we're gonna learn another command here that does a message. It's very useful. It's called alert. Alert is nothing but a browser pop-up box that basically shows a value. Very useful, right? Also annoying. So let's just do that. Alert num3. So that won't make much sense now, but let's do that. When I refresh now, this code will always execute because it's just in the root of the script. There is nothing stopping it from getting executed. So it will get executed the moment I refresh my page. It will find that number 3, it will put in that value, and then it will call the browser alert, and then we will put a message there. And there will be something in it, and we have no idea what's in there. Let's find out. Look at that. Digest that while I drink some more. It says, I retrieved an object called HTML table cell element. Right? And that's right. That whole number 3 is actually an object. It's called HTML table cell element. But that is weird because it has number 3 in it. I was expecting to see 3 there, right? I was expecting to see that, the number 3. Well, you can actually show that number 3, and it's very simple. You add that dot. Remember, document is an object, and this is a function that belongs to this object. Number 3 is an object, and to access the properties of that, we can access the properties, and one of the important properties called text content with a capital C. And now if I refresh, I actually got the value inside that puppy. Very, very, very important. Okay guys, let's remove that alert. What happened? Who can tell me what happened if I do this? Sup is a string, a value. Now think of this as a value, as a text, and I'm gonna put this text in the text content of number 3 object. Let's see what will happen. Ooh, look at that. We changed the value of the object. That is actually interesting because we were gonna do something similar. When I click on these buttons, I want to change this. I'm not gonna change this. This doesn't change, right? Right, so we're not gonna do that. But you're getting the idea, right? So what we're gonna do next is we're going to declare all these variables, document.getElementById, by ID, result, and then result.textContent is equal to new result, right? And that will execute on page load. Look at that. Doesn't make any sense now, but We have the building blocks. We know what we're gonna do now. Let's do that. We have this piece. I know how to change that. That is cool. Let's actually write the first event. Number 3, let's stick with number 3 and let's stick with just the result for now. Okay, number 3, I want to do something with number 3 object. I want to add an event on number 3, and that's called add event listener. Remember we said listening to an event? And to listen to an event, you have to specify 2 things. What event are you listening on? And what are you gonna do when you listen, when that event get executed? So the first thing is, that's my event. That's simple. The second thing is the tricky part. When I click on number 3, I want to call a function. I want to call a function. I want to call a piece of code that will put the number 3 in the value of the result. We know how to put the value in the result. We just learned that. But how do I do it on a function? Well, that's a good question. That's how you write a function. Function type. No. What do we call this function? We're going to call this function print. Just print. Print is good. I'm not sure if it's reserved or not, but yeah. Just in case it's resolved, I'm going to call it print symbol, assuming these are symbols, right? Print symbol, and then I'll just call it print number 3, right? That's the function. Make it simpler. What we're gonna do here is, this is just, it has its own body. So what we're gonna do is we copy that code. Same thing, right? Let result is equal that, and then result dot text content is equal the number 3. We have to do it this way. We have to put the quotation between them. And refresh. Will that work? We missed something here, guys. So number 3 dot add event listener, we said I'm gonna click, right? On click, I want you to call the function number 3. Print number 3. Let's do that. When I click on number 3 now, what? Look at that. Who can guess how can I do the number 2? We're gonna do this, right? Copy that. Two. Then we're gonna copy the whole thing. We're gonna make this 2. So we need another function called print number 2, and then we're gonna put number 2 in it. All right. As you can see, it's getting uglier. It's getting longer. The code is getting longer, but it's doing its job. Let's see. We're gonna fix that in a minute. Refresh. When I click 3, shows 3. When I click 2, shows 2. That is cool, but I want to fix that. I want to make this one function. But how do I do that? I don't want to just say print number 3 or print number 2 and print. I'm going to do it like I'm going to write 70 function by the end of that. I don't want to do that. I want to do it in a smart way, right? So let's just back up here. Let's call this function print symbol. Just print any symbol, right? But that function actually takes a parameter, and that's a cool thing here. A parameter is nothing but the object. It has a lot of things plus the object that was that the event executed on. It has the target object that the event executed on, and that's very important. So let's do that, right? When I click on number 3, I'm gonna call print symbol. When I click on number 2, I'm gonna call print symbol. Same thing, but I'm not gonna put a hard-coded value here. I'm gonna put a value, and guess what is the value? We need to know what is that E represents. And the beauty of this, like all of these, both of them will call the same function, but they will give different E, different variable, different event target, right? So we're gonna find out soon enough here. Let's use our alert here to say e.target.id. And let's see what happens here. So when I click, let's go through the code. When I click on number 3, this function will get executed. So the cursor will go here, and we will pass something. We don't know what's that. And then we will get that value, and then we will print a value. It will display an alert with e.target.id. What is that ID? I have no idea. We're going to find out soon enough. Refresh. Click on 3. Number 3. Isn't that our object? That is beautiful. If I click on 2, I go, wow. Look at that. We got that object back. And guess what? If we got that object back, that means I can access its text content. Right? Let's declare a variable called object equal e.target. And then see, I saved that object into the target into the object, and then from the object, what are we gonna do here is, you guessed it, guys, you guessed it. I'm gonna take that content of that object that I clicked on, and I'm gonna put it in the result. Sweet or not? It is sweet. 3, 3, 2, 2. Beautiful. Can I scale that code now? Can I do let num1 is equal to num1, and then I just do a num1 dot add event listener click print symbol. Same exact code. Same exact code. That's the beauty of that. And then we refresh, and then we do 2, 3, 1. Look at that. Yeah, it's a bit flipped though. Why is it like that? You'd think it's 2, 1, 2, 3, right? Not 3, 2, 1. All right. Slowly we're gonna clean up code, guys. Slowly we're gonna learn stuff. For now, we're gonna do it this way. For paste. So that's number 3, number 4, oops, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at all this code, guys. You wrote all this code. That's cool. 9, and then 9. Isn't that cool? Again, guys, there is always a better way of doing things, but we're gonna slowly learn. And there's always a reason I do this way, because we're gonna use something else to simplify this code. Literally replace all this code with 2 or 3 lines. But what they call this proverb, where a journey of the 1,000-mile begins with a step. Is that right? Yes, I think it's right. That's how you say it. So always do something. Always make a step. And in all seriousness, if you love to do something, don't say that, hey, someone have done it before. You think there are no JavaScript exercises out there on YouTube? There are thousands, but I don't care. I want to do this. I like teaching. This is my unique style of teaching, and I like to do it, right? So nothing's stopping me from doing it. And the same thing with you. If you love to do something, just go and do it. Do the work. Show your work. You're here because you want to learn programming. And to learn programming is to start building your own application that will reach other people and changes their life and simplify other tasks. And that is the purpose of all what we're doing here, right? Okay, guys, back to reality. Back to our application. All right, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at that. That is cool. But there's like a little problem here. If I click 1 and then I click 2 and then I click 3, you notice that it's actually adding, right? It's not overriding that value. So let's fix that little problem, and then we're gonna see you on the next one. So let's fix this. So you guys just encountered your first bug. This is what we call a bug. This is an undesired functionality, right? Because this is not what we want, and the application is not doing what we want. So let's get to do it. Let's make it do what we want. When I print the symbol, I get the result object. That's the first line. That gives me this object. And then I get the target. That's whatever I clicked on. And then after I do that, I take the text content of that target and then put it in the result of my object function. So how do I do that? We're gonna do that, right? See, I'm taking the object and I am slamming it into that text content. So that is effectively overriding whatever the old value was. So how can I preserve that value and then add the new content? It's very simple. You copy that puppy. The new result text content equal to the old result text content plus whoa. All right. Okay. All right. To be this way. Equal the old plus the new, and then you concatenate these two guys. So if let's walk through this. Refresh. 3, 2. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Nice. Good work, guys. Good work. That's beautiful. All right, so now we have our application doing what we want. Not quite, but slowly. We're going to do it slowly. So I think this is a logical point to stop here, but let's just explain one more thing before we end this series, this episode. So let's take the result. Take the result object. Refresh. Put 1 here. 0, okay? What happened here is take the result object. I have the result object and it has a text content of 0, okay? Always when you execute, go from right to left. Take the target. I'm gonna click on 3. I didn't click yet, but I'm gonna click on 3. And so 3. And then now take the result again from the right. Take the result text content. What is the current result content? It's 0. Okay, take a 0. Yeah, take a 0. And then add the object, which is the target. God damn it. 3. Oh man. Add a 3 next to it. That will concatenate. The result will be 0, 3. Oh man, that's awful. All right, so if I click 3, 0, 3. Again, this is not what we want. And then if you click at 3 again, take the new result, which is 0, 3, and add a 3 to it. So that's a 3, 3. And then add a 2, and then 1, and then yeah, oh yeah. There you go. All right, guys, let's stop here. It's a logical point, I think. In the next episode, we're gonna do these puppies, and then we do the operations, which is like literally the same code, really. We're gonna do the clear, and hopefully we're gonna do the equality, or the evaluate. All right, guys, long episode this time. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and to check out the rest of the content in this channel. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Goodbye.